Hello, Luke here. I would just like to take a moment to disclose upfront that we sometimes talk about sensitive topics in our podcasts, and in fairness to our audience, we will try our best to put specific warnings in the descriptions of each episode. Now on with the show.
I miss Gorgon, and I really don't want to fight. I am Archer of the Gorgonites. My friends all got scattered, hunted by Major Chip Hazard. I miss Gorgon, impending defeat by the Commando Elite. X-1000 chips made them strong, and they're burning holes out in the lawn. But we cannot give up. Help from Alan now, shut up. And I miss Gorgon, miss Gorgon. That's Botanana or Now You're Gone, depending on which version you heard by Bass Hunter.
And stand-up comic actors invent military-grade toys that must be dealt with in small soldiers. Welcome to the Nostalgia Killers podcast, where we revisit films from our youth to see if they still hold up or should be inserted into the great DVD player in the sky. I'm Luc Londe, joined almost always, once again, by Chuck Starzenski.
That's right, Major Chuck Hazard reporting for duty.
Almost always, again, by Javier Martinez.
You stole my joke, you bastard.
You can still be Nick Nitro, he's pretty cool.
And joined once again by Robert Negoesco.
You should not want to be any of the soldiers.
No.
These are not good people. Gorgonite all the way.
Messages were missed.
Be sure to stick around for our Sonic Death Monkey Top 5, where we go over our top 5 unexplainable or unrealistic movie MacGuffins.
Yeah.
And we'll go on to our honorary Sam Coughlin spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. Yeah.
What year did this? It was 98, right?
98.
Yeah.
July
If you have not
1998.
seen Small Soldiers, stop the podcast, go watch it. Well, since you guys seem to have more of a connection to it, how about you go first, Robert?
It was huge. So I think I was like 5 or 6 when Toy Story came out. And this is clearly like a riff on that, where it's like, let's do the edgy version of Toy Story.
Sure.
And that's how I read it as at the time as a kid. I was like, oh yeah, Toy Story's cool, but like this is like actually cool. I remember specifically going to Burger King, like asking my mom to go to Burger King so I could get the toys. I had a couple of those. I had the Small Soldiers board game.
Oh, I had no idea there was a board game.
Mm-hmm. I still have the Oculus or Occo or whatever is that the eyeball guy.
Ocula.
I still have
Ocula.
him, but I don't know what happened to the rest of the toys. I also had, which I wish I had never gotten rid of, a like 8-inch tall Insaniac.
Oh.
Like
that's
hard
fucking cool.
plastic, huge toy, and his like head would spin around and stuff. I was super into this movie. Really liked it. I mean, this is what my request this episode, because I think there's a lot to talk about with it. We also, because we did Gremlins, you know, there's a lot of similarities we'll come up with.
Sure.
But I watched this movie a ton on VHS. I don't know. We'll get way more into all the rest of the stuff. But yeah, definitely grew up on this. Haven't seen this since I was at the latest, like 11 or
So you
12.
You haven't been watching it
I
since,
have not rewatched. It's
Okay.
one. That's also why I kind of pushed wanting to do this one, because it's like I truly haven't. I didn't rewatch this when I was in my early 20s, rewatching all the movies I grew up with,
Sure.
like I did most stuff.
As I said before, I was like 9 when this came out. Definitely saw it in theaters. I was all about this movie. I remember not having the board game, but I definitely rented the really awful PlayStation 1 game.
Oh yeah. I played that too. Yeah.
More importantly, I had a talking Archer t-shirt that my mom got me from Walmart.
What?
What's a talking T-shirt?
Like you press the little button? And
Yeah,
like,
it's like it has a little like try me button. You press it, and literally it's an Archer t-shirt, and it says, "I am Archer, emissary of the Gorgonites."
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure my mom gutted the shirt. Like she just ripped the wiring out at some point, because I have memories of it only working for like a week and then being like, "Mom, my shirt's broken," and like crying and like,
You know,
"What's going on?"
you washed it once and
Probably
then it
washed it
didn't
once.
work.
She's like, I know, Chuck. I know.
Exactly. No, just like that single gray hair from Archer.
Wow.
Where's your Gorgonites now?
Exactly. But no, this movie was definitely a huge like inspiration on me, whether conscious or not. It's in that same canon of like the Gremlins and the Short Circuits and just all the little creature movies. And yeah, this was probably a direct inspiration for a short I made called Felt Up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It starts to make sense.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, more or less the same. Yeah, I watched it a ton as a kid. I would have been, like 6 or 7 when this came out. Just like you, Robert, I haven't seen it probably since I was, 10 or 11. So I was excited to do this one. And I definitely thought I remembered more about it.
I didn't remember it being so long. There's a lot. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying there's a lot to it. Once like most of the plot was like done and resolved, I was like, okay, it's almost over. Oh no, it's not.
Yeah.
It's got another half hour.
There's like a second end.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only adult I remember is Dennis Leary.
That's funny. That's funny. That's the one we'll get to it. But then,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, stacked cast.
Exactly.
Yeah. For me, I didn't see this until like 2000, like till after it came out. But it was I was on a boat, and I distinctly remember because I was running the movies at that time. Somebody requested this, and then we pulled out into a hurricane, and then everyone got sick. So I ended up shutting this off in the middle of it because nobody was watching it. That's my memory of it. And I remember Tommy Lee Jones. I remember seeing all the comics, comics that I would go on to like admire and follow, like David Cross and Jay Moore. But yeah, that's I'm not sure if I ever finished watching it. What about your favorite scenes, Robert?
All of the stuff at the beginning, the pitch meeting. I think Dennis Leary is like just kills it in this as that dirtbag. I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, he's really good at playing Dennis Leary.
Yeah. But I mean, just the whole conceit, like as a kid, I thought was like, I thought it made me feel clever as like a kid to like be like, oh yeah, this movie's about like a military organization that buys a toy company. Like something about that is just so ingenious. And their pitch meeting and how he twists everything, away from, takes the power from those guys like completely and just steamrolls them. He's like incredible to watch. So yeah, I like that. The like, you know what I'm tired of? I'm tired of watching a forerunner drive up a mountain and park on top of Abraham Lincoln's head. I'm tired of women thinking that if they use this shampoo, one cycle of wash and repeat, they'll look like Claudia Schiffer, And he's like, let's make these toys do what they say,
It's basically his comedy stand-up.
Yeah, sure.
His ranting. He did it in Demolition Man too. Like that's kind of why they invite him on, is so he can just cook. That was pretty funny to watch.
Anything with Phil Hartman, like every single thing. I mean, I'll just say favorite line in the movie. I think World War II is my favorite one. Chip. Eats a chip. Like the timing is fucking incredible. I laughed hysterically and then like rewinded it like 3 times to like watch that.
Somehow at the end when they're all getting their checks, his was the funniest response. His like just turnaround was the funniest. It was like 5 people in a row get their check, but his was the funny one.
Because he goes from straight anger to like that's great.
That'll do.
I mean, it's like obviously like what hasn't been said about Phil Hartman, like incredible. This was his last movie, but like the comedic timing on that guy, like I kind of think he's probably the most talented SNL cast member that has ever been, and I know how crazy of a statement that is, but like that dude was crazy good, crazy good comedy. And it's not just because he died too soon or whatever. It's like the timing on that man is insane. He can take dead lines and make them hysterical. Just any moment with him is like a treat, Surround sound system, right? Like that whole thing, the cutting the tree down. Like when you first meet him and he just lays out this insane like monologue to his daughter who doesn't care. He's like, he says that the tree is messing with the geosynchronous orbit and blah, blah, blah. It's like, what are you talking about? He's doing like Star Trek technobabble or whatever, and he makes it sound normal. Yeah. And then, I mean, honestly, the Gorgonites, they're like insanely charming, really steal the show, I think. And for that to work, I mean, obviously like the Gremlins, they steal the show kind of, but like you have all these human actors and these part CGI, part model toys like steal some scenes, and they're really, really charming, I think. Joe Dante really like, after doing 2 Gremlins movies, was really able to like, how can we pack personality and emotion into these like inanimate objects quickly? You understand who each one is very quickly. They're established who they are. They're all very different. Yeah. I mean, so it's not really, those aren't really like scenes, I guess, but just like every time those all show up.
Fucking Stan Winston.
Yeah.
Like, that was my note. I was like, Stan Winston. I'm like, you know, because again, obviously, you know, having seen this as a kid, like that was my thing. Oh, this is so cool. These toys are so real. And so that was one thing that I kind of worried about going to rewatch it. I was like, oh, I hope they don't look really dumb.
Yeah.
And so I was really relieved to watch and be like, oh, like, I mean, 90% of the time that they're on screen, like, that looks fucking amazing.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's so good.
And it's like you get over that uncanny valley 90s CGI that was so common because it's like, oh, yeah, they're supposed to look, they're toys. They're supposed to look inanimate and plastic, but they also have such life breathed into them. And yeah.
I mean, the reason that Toy Story, which was the first fully CG animated movie, was about toys, was them leaning into their limitations. When you see the like Andy's in that for like a couple seconds, it's awful. Like, I mean, it's not good. You know, they can't do people, and they knew that, so they made a movie about toys where it's like choppiness in their movement and stuff. It's like, well, because it's a toy. Okay, like how is a toy supposed to move? You tell me. Like,
exactly.
And this movie also is leaning into that.
It's more haunting if Buzz does blink, like that kind of thing.
I think the CGI is great. I looked it up, and Joe Dante said about 1/3 of it was puppetry.
Yep.
They intended to do almost entirely puppetry. They found a lot was just easier with CGI. Which when you see the insane action that's going on, like it makes sense. How would you have models, all that stop motion? That'd be crazy.
I mean, it's used appropriately. I think when they do use CGI, it makes sense. And,
but he said it shook out to about 1/3 puppets and 2/3 CGI.
I'll go 2 for 2 there. I'll do favorite scene and then just favorite thing. Favorite scene is definitely the Frankensteining of Christie's Gwendy dolls. And then they're like Gulliver's Travels like style assault on the house and just like lighting the boyfriend on fire. And that's an amazing stunt. That's something that's like, how is this in this movie? Like
that was a Texas switch too.
Yeah.
At the bottom of the stairs. Like the guy coming down the stairs went by and another guy was on fire. Coming out the side.
We lit two people on fire multiple times.
And who is it? It's Christina Ricci doing voice of the Gwendy dolls.
Christina Ricci and another
it was someone big.
Sarah Michelle
Gellar. It's Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Yeah.
They're both of them collectively are the Gwendy dolls.
But as much as you love Phil Hartman, I love Archer in this so goddamn much. His existential laments.
Yes.
I don't know if it's just like, you know, being in my 30s or just depression, but like every single time, like I was like cackling at the screen and had to rewind it over and over. Just like, it's like so much ennui packed into one little piece of plastic. It's like, experiencing, like having the cat lick him and just like, ha ha. There is joy in this world. And like, tell me, Alan, now shut up. What is air? Just like, so this is this wind you speak of.
Feel, I forgot, plastic.
Exactly. I almost cried a couple times, like that whole bit where he's like, what's out there? It's like, well, it's a field. Past the field. A mall. Past the mall. I don't know, like a freeway. Past the freeway. Like more fields. I don't know. What's past more fields? I don't have time for this, dude. I really don't know. And he's like, Gorgon. It's just like such a oh god.
And he turns it around on him to like, just because you can't see it doesn't mean it isn't real.
Yep.
Everyone has to be I don't actually think he says that, but that's a good line. Everyone has to be somewhere.
Yeah.
When we were, coming to rewatch this film, I was trying to think of like, what do I remember, right? And like I said, I definitely, I didn't remember as much as I thought I did. But one thing that I remember, at first I thought it was just a trailer. Like I was remembering something from the trailer. And then when I saw it in the movie, I'm like, oh no, this is how it plays out in the movie. It's, that scene where they come out of the garage and like those, the little weaponized, war. I was like, I was like, yes, this is amazing. I fucking love that. And just like the creativity along those lines, with the creativity of like all the weaponry that they make, like launching the CDs on fire and stuff, and the corn on the cob holders. Like,
it's ingenious.
Yeah, there's some dark, deadly shit in this. There's blood.
I remember, shit, like that. Yeah, that can kill somebody for sure.
I mean, it kind of like brings up the idea, and it made me think. I remember as a kid of like how deadly your normal world could be, right? Because they're everyday objects, and it's like I remember like they strapped the chainsaw to like the little, and it never really comes up, right? But I'm like, a little car with a chainsaw on it, you're just chop your ankles off, like right, like you know what I mean? Like this is not an R-rated movie, but otherwise that would have happened. Someone would have been running, and their foot would have, like it's terrifying. And then like the launching of the like fireballs and like they get their hands on all that
balls,
gasoline and explosives and stuff. And it's like, you don't need to be more than 6 inches tall to light a fuse. You know what I mean? Like if you can move some explosives.
Just like lighting up the house with multiple nail guns.
Yeah. Terrifying. I mean, like I read that originally this movie was supposed to be like more teenage leaning. And then the toy licensing started to come in. And then they were like, no. Young, make it younger. But it still ended up with a PG-13 rating. Yeah. Which they were surprised by. But it's like, I think it was the drugging of the parents' drinks
was that
pushed it into PG-13.
Oh my God. It wasn't the bloody leg from the corn cob.
I mean, probably a lot of that stuff. He slices that kid's hand open with that little saw. You know what I mean? And then
this thing's pretty dark. Like,
but apparently I had the Burger King toys. I don't really remember this, but apparently the toys, when you got them at Burger King, said these toys are appropriate for all ages, but the movie may contain imagery that is not suitable for kids under 13. Because it was like an actual debacle on what to do.
That's pretty funny.
But they actually chose not to edit the movie out because that's like an integral plot point.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have been able to pull it off if the parents weren't drugged. So he just drugged Phil Hartman. And then he doesn't stay drugged, but the mom stays drugged.
The mom's high as shit.
Yeah. I love this song.
Well, I didn't have too much nostalgia or like memories of it, but I did really like that David Cross and Jay Moore come back for a substantial part of the movie.
Yeah.
They weren't just fodder for the beginning and like cast away and forgotten about. I really liked that they came back and they were part of the struggle and the fight. And
he's the creator.
Yeah.
They could have played that God angle a little bit more, I think.
I know,
that's kind of one of my nitpicks. That is like, there should have been some sort of wisdom that he passes on to them.
Sure.
Or he gets a little bit from them, but it's like there should have been like a deeper connection formed. And you could have done that really quickly, I think.
Yeah.
That's kind of like one of my little nitpicks.
Yeah.
Because he did create them, whereas Jay created the fucking soldiers.
He just put the chips in.
Yeah, he created the enemies, you know.
Well, that's a good segue onto the nitpicks then.
I guess my biggest one, and again, they're all nitpicks. Like, I love this movie. The soundtrack was a little distracting in the sense that I enjoyed all the songs they used. But like when the Spice Girls, you know, If You Want to Be My Lover, like audio torture came on, it took me like a good 40 seconds to realize that's what was happening. Because I was just like, oh yeah, they got a Spice Girls song licensed. And this is like this is to lighten up the fact that we're shooting the house with nail guns. That's what I thought. Like, I thought it was kind of like just that juxtaposition. And then the characters were like, oh, I hate this song. And I was like, oh shit, they can hear it too.
Yeah. And then what Kirsten Dunst is like, the Americans use this in Noriega.
Exactly.
Right? Like, oh wow, you know a lot of history for a 15-year-old girl.
But yeah, like if they would have toned some of that down, I think that joke would have played a little better, because there was so many moments, like Javi said, like you just get War and you get like Led Zeppelin and all this, and it's just like, oh yeah, I'm along for the ride. But then it's like, if you're gonna make an audio joke, you got to bring it back a little bit.
Or you have Major Chip Hazard begin audio warfare,
exactly.
You know, or whatever. One line.
Or they could have played, you know, the cycles, the actual like music they played during the war, during the psych warfare, like in
how horrific would that be if that was Joe Dante's original vision? He's like, well, we couldn't get the licensing to Noriega's like soundtrack.
But they got Led Zeppelin. It's
like, well, Spice Girls, Led Zeppelin, they're all on, you know, BGM. So,
but could they hear the Led Zeppelin? I felt like that was just playing it.
I
couldn't tell that.
I think she might have been playing it in her room
because she loves Led
Zeppelin.
That was diegetic. That was
okay.
Yeah, but that's I guess like the kind of slip between kind of threw me off here and there.
Yeah, no, we didn't get any Power Man 5000, even though he has a Power Man 5000 poster.
Come on, I saw
that. It is very like the Spice Girls thing. I feel like was intended to just be like a joke of the moment.
Yeah,
because I mean I'm jumping ahead, but like the last line of the movie, do you remember what it is? I hope we don't hit an iceberg.
Oh yeah,
it's like so referential. It's the year after Titanic.
Yeah.
For that to be that, I mean, that's a fine joke, I guess, but it's weird that that's the last line in the movie. That's like, because that's like intended to be like, make everyone go, oh my God. Like, you know, and it's like out of context. You're like, what? Right?
Yeah, like sure.
It doesn't make any sense. It's only knowing that it came the year after Titanic that it really makes any sense.
Since we're in nitpicks, I would say that none of that character's punch-up voiceover worked.
Oh, yeah.
All the off-screen jokes.
Sanctuary.
He's
He's not the best character.
That was them trying to bring it back down to like children Like,
Yeah.
but it just grated for me.
I was gonna say that's my only other nitpick. Sorry to jump in again, but yeah, it's just Insaniac is
How dare
too
you take your
90s
turn back?
for his own good.
He's very. I mean,
he's doing like stand-up.
he's also
stuff.
like
Yeah.
he's like 90s Tasmanian devil.
Yeah, no, like after like I heard his character speak like introduction, I was like, I don't want to hear him anymore. Like, I was like, I'm good on Insaniac. He can spin and go woohoo every now and then, but like he doesn't need dialogue.
Crash Bandicoot, dude.
Exactly.
Yeah, pretty much.
Do you guys know who did the voices of the Gorgonites?
No.
Yeah. It was,
Frank Langella did the Archer.
Yeah, so
other than that, I don't.
All the rest of them are the 3 members of Spinal Tap.
Spinal Tap. Yeah.
Dante cast Spinal Tap as the Gorgons. So it's like Michael McKean, Harry Shearer, and Christopher Guest.
Yep.
And then the Commando Elite were voiced by the cast of The Dirty Dozen, which is a classic film. So that's why you get Ernest Borgnine just in this fucking movie, which is incredible. And then Bruce Dern replaced one of the people who
love Bruce Dern in this movie.
Yeah, but like one of the guys died from Dirty Dozen.
Okay.
And then Bruce Dern was his replacement.
Gotcha.
But I mean, you get Bruce fucking Dern.
Bruce Dern playing his character from The Burbs.
Yeah.
Along with, I forget which one of their moms was the woman in The Burbs as well. It's like a little connection. But
See, I would love to do that episode. I haven't seen that in a long time.
Yeah, we're definitely doing The Burbs.
Yeah.
On that note, I hope the trivia still holds up.
Sorry, I didn't mean to take away from you, man.
As a guy, I've been thinking that this whole time. I'm like, Luke, Robert are just fucking destroying the trivia section.
Yeah, I was like, I was already prepared to take the L on it. So.
Expect no mercy.
You guys already got like 4 of the questions right, so you're winning. So far.
Okay.
Chuck, you guys step it up.
I know, right?
Yeah, for my nitpicks, so I had a couple of them, but 2 of them I'm going to try to morph together into one kind of thought, which is, and again, I fucking love this movie too. So there's, it's not, I'm not hating on the movie, but just like a lot of the inconsistencies in terms of like, well, do they feel pain or do they not feel pain? Are they, do they have some kind of strength more than plastic or do they not? And just kind of the movie flip-flops a lot back and forth. And it definitely, like, there's moments where I was like, oh, wait a minute, like that doesn't make sense. Like he just got his fucking legs cut off like, 2 minutes ago, but now this guy is dying because of the exact same reason, So
we don't know where they keep the batteries though.
Well, that's what I kind of,
it could be in the base of the spine.
Yeah, that's
and
what I
then
used
it's
to
like Nick Nitro ain't gonna
oh,
make it.
Right. So that's kind of what I was like, okay, well, maybe if I think about it that way.
His batteries are in his feet.
But then I was like, okay, but then like, whatever, like 10 dolls are able to hold down Kirsten Dunst, but then the next second she's like throwing them off, and like the second they hit the wall, they're like exploding in a million pieces.
Sure,
so I'm like,
as we know about 90s toys, the plastic was great. You could throw them off roofs and stuff.
Yeah.
And we did a lot.
They set them on fire and everything.
Yeah, and they're fine.
Yeah.
They're fine.
Got no less than 2 black eyes thanks to 90s plastic.
Oh.
Yeah.
Robert, you kind of touched on this a little bit, but I wish there had been more from the Gorgonites. I feel like they didn't really do anything. Like even in the final battle when they sipped in help, I'm like,
Except Archer, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even that, I don't think he did a lot. I'm pretty sure he got knocked off the power pole in like a couple seconds. I think if anything,
I guess
it was
you're right.
Insaniac that was driving the nail gun. He took the nail gun car away from the other ones, and I think he was the one that quote
Yeah, they
did
do
more
a little
damage,
bit, but yeah, they're not integral to like the plot of destroying, except for Archer battling Major Ship Hazard on top of the. I mean, he does save Alan from getting his fingers Tweety birded off by Major Ship Hazard and falling to his death.
Javi wants more violence. Got it.
I mean, yeah.
What a shocker.
I mean, I think maybe like just to bounce off that, like their whole thing is like Commando Elite are not trained to learn, right? They're trained to destroy.
Yeah.
But the Gorgonites are trained to learn.
Sure.
They should have been able to like that should have been a major plot point to like, they all learned something that allows them to overtake even though they're trained to lose, they can win because they're also trained to learn. Whereas their enemy is just black and white. You are bad. I will kill you. And I'm trained to be ingenious with weaponry, but I'm not trained beyond that, I think that should have been like a crux, you know.
And the last one I have, which had me I had to pause it because I was laughing so much, and might have not been intentional, but I feel like it definitely was. But in the scene where they first see the Gwendy dolls and they're having their whole like, hubba bubba, they're showing all the dolls, you get all the, whatever stereotypical dolls. And then they show the African-American Gwendy doll and they cut right to the African-American soldier.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and you get his little reaction of like, whoa, there's one for me kind of thing. And I was like, oh, God.
Yeah. Jim Brown, rest in peace.
Yeah.
Yeah, he died recently.
Oh, did he? Oh.
Yeah. Jim Brown, he's a classic actor and football player.
Yeah, right.
But, yeah,
didn't know he had passed away. But...
Yeah.
A lot of classic football players passing away very recently.
Yeah.
Classic.
Yeah. Maybe we should do Naked Gun 33 in
That
honor.
was on my
fuck.
list to do next, and now I think we should wait a bit.
You don't want it in memoriam?
No, definitely not.
Okay.
My one real nitpick is that they couldn't give Phil Hartman a character name. They just called him Phil.
I loved that.
Oh, really?
His name was Phil.
Oh, yeah.
So just calling him like they forgot his character name, and they just like ran with it.
It's for the realism.
I was going to say, for the purpose of the show, I fucking love that because I was writing my notes. I was like, fucking Phil kills it again. Da-da-da. Like, and then I was like, wow, what is Phil Hartman's character's name? And then they called him Phil, and I was like, oh, look at me. I'm doing okay. Obviously, couldn't do 90% of the movie if they didn't use CGI. But like those moments where it is animatronic and puppetry, I was just, as a puppet dork, I was like, oh,
Yeah,
this
there's
is so cool.
fantastic work switching between the two, CGI and real, and no stop motion. It's all live action. It's all actual like animatronics.
Yeah.
And it's great. Right on to our rainy day double feature.
Obvious choice, because I actually used to do this, is watch Toy Story in this.
Okay.
I mean, I would,
Yeah.
like, I thought it was fun. Like, I knew that this was subverting Toy Story even at like 8 years old.
Right on.
Like, I was like, they're clearly referencing how big Toy Story is. It's the biggest thing in the world.
Sure.
So, like, I would watch both of them.
Yeah, I had a little flashback to my childhood watching this, and so I was kind of like, I kind of want to watch Jumanji now.
Yeah.
Like, there's, Kirsten's in that too. So
Oh, yeah.
That town,
But,
same town.
I would believe that. That makes
Yeah,
it. Like,
yeah,
yes.
it all looks very similar.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
Also,
Nice.
Kirsten Dunst.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, another one just kind of based on a game, toys, kind of stuff.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
why not? Yeah.
I went with a movie I've done before on this podcast for a rainy day pairing. I went with The Gate again, which I brought it up on the Gremlins episode. But yeah, it's about two little boys that open a portal to hell, and weird little demonic imps crawl out and start attacking. And so
Right.
kind of the same thing, just replace toys with demons. But otherwise it's like, what are we going to do, Bradley? I'm like, well, I don't know. And then, yeah, it's two kids fighting off little devils.
Don't double feature this with Gremlins, because this is a remake of Gremlins.
Exactly.
Pretty much, yeah.
I mean, you can if you want, but it'll be a little redundant.
Yeah. Mine was a movie that I usually mistook this one for, which is kind of odd, but Toy Soldiers. You haven't seen Toy Soldiers? We need to do that one. Have you seen it, Chuck?
The name is familiar. I was waiting for you to say Dog Soldiers, and I was going to be like,
No.
fuck yes.
Toy Soldiers is actually about a boys' prep school being taken over by terrorists.
Oh,
It's got
okay.
Sean Astin. It's like a great 90s action movie.
So the toy
not
soldiers
seen this.
are the kid soldiers,
Kids,
basically.
yeah. So I
Okay.
thought the Small Soldiers was that movie, and the Toy
Oh,
Soldiers was
okay.
this movie.
Yeah,
For
'cause that is
longest time.
specific.
Yeah.
Swapped.
Another option, just Hamburger Hill in this.
Oh yeah.
Just watch a violent war
Any
movie.
fucking horrible
Bridge
war
of
movie.
Kauai, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, the same messages.
Exactly.
Man, when do we get into those?
I'm ready, dude.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
I think it's a whole different podcast that we should do.
I don't know. All right. What was Escape from Great Escape?
Great Escape. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's so many of them.
I mean, literally Dirty Dozen. 'Cause
Heartbreak
a bunch of the
Ridge.
cast are in here.
All right, well, that's bringing me flashbacks. Let's move on to this movie's cocktail.
All right. Well, to, ease Luke's war-addled mind, we've got the Gorgon Grog. So it's an ounce of rum, half an ounce of a banana liqueur, 2 ounces of a non-sponsored silver pouch juice blend, which I have a bone to pick with that. 3/4 of an ounce of a citrus juice blend, so like a little lemon, little lime, little orange. Half an ounce of a banana Oleo Sacreum, and a dash of Angostura. Shake all of the ingredients over ice and strain back into the iconic silver juice pouches of our youth. As you enjoy, remember, everything else is just a juice box. But yeah, I was trying to go for like shoving the X1000 into a child's play thing. I was like, oh, what if I shoved hard liquor into a child's beverage?
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you guys had a Capri Sun lately, like on its own?
Yeah.
They replace the sugar with monk fruit sugar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like they've got this like weird saccharine quality to them now, and like the flavor's like just way weaker.
Oh,
like
yeah. This is like 5 years ago.
yeah, I just
Yeah, it's
So you no
horrible.
longer turn into liquid metal?
no
Because
longer
that's
turn
the
to liquid
real
metal because that's the,
sugar
I was gonna say that's the corn syrup just like
Yeah.
coursing through your
into
veins.
your brain, and your
Exactly.
eyes start to glow.
That's HFCs, baby. Monk fruit doesn't do that.
All these regulations trying to keep kids healthy. What the fuck?
Exactly. But yeah, as a 35-year-old man, I'm like, bring back the sugar.
With that, we'll go ahead and take our first ad break.
And break. And we're back with everyone's favorite segment, Nostalgia Killers Trivia. It's time to find out if our guests are fantastic or just made of plastic.
Yeah, all right. Well, let's start off with question number 1. Joe Dante originally wanted the primary cast of which movie to voice the elite commandos? A, Star Wars A New Hope. B, Platoon. C, Predator. Or D, Full Metal Jacket.
I'm gonna go C, Predator.
I would go with D.
Yeah,
Because
Joe Dante's a sick fuck, so it's probably Full Metal Jacket.
Well, you're in for a surprise because Chuck, you got it.
Hey!
Yeah, they wanted Arnie to do Chip Hazard.
That's
and,
kind of what I figured.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Jesse Ventura, like Nick Nitro, and
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I figured they would want Lee Army, the drill instructor from Full Metal Jacket, to be in there somewhere.
Yeah, he could have been Chip Hazard.
Or any of them, yeah.
Matthew
Carl
Modine.
Weathers, like, you son of a bitch. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Carl Weathers totally could have been
Hell
Butch
yeah.
Meat Hook.
Yeah.
What a name, Butch Meat Hook.
Question number 2. The film was originally supposed to be a lot darker. True or false?
Yes.
True.
Correct. True. Number 3. Sales for the Small Soldiers toys outperformed the movie. True or false?
True.
Yeah, I would say true.
Yeah, it is true. It is true. I tried to find a specific number, but I couldn't.
This was a cash grab.
Yeah.
We got lucky that we got a good movie out of it.
I mean, and it didn't make. I mean, it made 30 million or so,
Yeah,
but
that's what it was.
it was like a $40 million budget, and it made like 70 something million, which I imagine they wanted more. I know they wanted it to be a franchise. They envisioned it as a franchise. That would be weird.
Child's Play did it. Why not?
Yeah. With a very similar Child's Play 2 has a constructing of the Chucky doll sequence, which I actually thought of when they were making the toys in this.
Yeah.
It's very creepy in Child's Play 2, and it's pretty creepy in this too when they have like no face and then they put the face on and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Question number 4. The majority of the live action toy scenes were filmed against a blue screen stage and later composited by ILM into the final scenes. True or false?
It sounds true.
I'm going to say false because I feel like Joe Dante's a do-it-on-set kind of guy.
I'd go false, too.
Ding, ding, ding. It is false. So, although that was the original idea. But yeah, Dante preferred the actors to interact with the animatronics. So.
Even after the hell of making Gremlins.
I mean, he's still a Roger Corman guy. He's still like, well, that really sucked, but that was like 20 years ago. And also like, you know how we save money, baby? We shoot it a day of.
Yeah, in camera.
Exactly.
Question number 5. True or false? This was the first DreamWorks movie to be rated PG-13.
I'm going to say true.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
I'd go false.
It is true.
I was trying to think of other DreamWorks movies.
I'm just trying to think of that
Yeah,
iconic
before.
logo, like, and anything horrific happening.
Honestly, I can't think of what DreamWorks was putting out before this. Most of my DreamWorks is like Shrek and post that.
What was Gump? Yeah.
Oh, that was 94. But
I'm thinking Forrest Gump.
I didn't remember that was
Gump's
DreamWorks.
PG, though.
That had to be at least PG.
Yeah, it's probably PG, yeah. Before they really started
goes to
pushing
Vietnam.
the 13 thing.
Ain't got no legs, Lieutenant Dan.
Yeah, that doesn't get a PG-13. Okay.
Question number 6. The design for the Gorgonites were inspired by a hit animated TV show. What was it?
Let's say Bump in the Night.
Aerial monsters.
No idea.
Nobody got it. He-Man and Masters of the Universe.
No shit.
Makes sense.
Yeah, heavily inspired by that, yeah.
I can see Beastman in Archer a little bit. He's like a more Beastman with dignity.
Well put, Robert. Well put.
Yeah, there wasn't a ton of trivia for this movie, so my next question is, name the one Gorgonite who is female.
Is it Ocula?
Itchit.
Troglocon?
He cheated. He looked that up.
No, I have Troglocon later on in my band name as one of my band names.
Yeah, that's my band name. That's the only one I put because I was like, that's the fucking best band name.
Well, if I'm going to be nice, I will give it to Robert, because the character's name is Scratch-It. not
Damn
Itch
it.
It.
Itch It was the other one. Or Punch It and Scratch
Punch It,
It.
yeah. Punch It and
Damn
Scratch It, yeah.
Scratch
Scratch
It's a
It.
lady?
Yeah,
Yeah, the
little orange
little
ball
orange
jumping around.
thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just assumed they were all like, non-gendered. Like I was like, oh, they're...
No, it's the
Yeah.
90s, Chuck.
That's true. They all got
Yeah, that's true.
They're binaried.
There's only 2 types of Gorgonites, Chuck.
That's right.
David Cross was not that progressive.
Question number 8. For some of the close-up shots of the Gwendy dolls, an actor in an animatronic suit were used. Kirsten Dunst portrayed most of them. True or false?
That's blowing my mind if that even happened. Whoa. I'll say false.
I'm gonna say false just because I don't like that they're using Kirsten Dunst as like a 13-year-old for like, full figured Barbie ladies. So I'm gonna say false.
Well, it's just a close up of the face.
That's true.
I'm gonna go true.
Well, you're wrong because it's false.
Hey.
But they did actually do
They
that.
did not. They did not.
Oh, okay.
No, but they didn't use.
No, they did not. No.
Oh, okay. That was something because they used that in Gremlins. I remember when we were talking about Gremlins. There's some of the close-ups were like actual models built with like a 3-foot head or something like that to get expressive, facial.
Yeah, there's like a guy in a rig for like some of those shots.
Question number 9. The old woman in bed watching TV with her husband is a suspicious connection.
Oh.
She looked familiar.
What film is she in? What's the suspicious connection?
Gremlins.
I'm gonna say Tremors.
No idea.
It is Gremlins. Yeah.
Right on.
Also directed by Joe Dante. Yeah, she plays Sheila Futterman, and she's also in Gremlins too.
Oh, she's Mrs. Futterman.
Yeah.
Okay.
He brings people back, Dick Miller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like the same guy.
I was so excited to
less
see
of
Dick
a-
Miller.
He's always the same guy though.
But he's like not a bad guy in this.
Yeah, he's not super xenophobic in this.
Yeah.
He's
As well
like
as the
he's
90s,
cool.
we figured it out by
Yeah.
then.
Yeah, we totally figured it all out.
It's called Small Soldiers, not a slur. He refers to the people that make the toys.
Yeah.
He's like, those damn, blah, blah, blah. It's like they're always making these pieces of plastic.
Oh yeah, if this was an '80s movie, it would have referenced how the toys were produced in Japan
Yeah,
or something
exactly.
like that for sure.
Question number 10, and I think I worded this terribly, and
Awesome.
but that's okay. It's okay. There's 2 parts to it, so at least one of the parts will be somewhat of a challenge. So Kirsten Dunst, she starred in movies with 3 of the other actors in this film. Which of these films is a suspicious connection, and which one is not one of the films? A, The Amazing Spider-Man. B, Kiki's Delivery Service. C, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. And D, Wag the Dog.
I'm going to say Kiki's Delivery Service.
I'll say wag the dog.
I'll say wag the dog.
Sorry, it's a 2-part question. So, sorry.
Well, you lost already, but
Yeah. Okay, so this film that's not one of those is The Amazing Spider-Man. She was in Spider-Man,
But nobody
not
else
The Amazing
was.
Spider-Man. That did
Oh,
star
fuck
Dennis
off.
Leary.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Well, I figured more because Dennis Leary is in The Amazing Spider-Man, so I thought your mind would associate that. Yeah,
I was going to call you out, and I was
Yeah.
like, don't do that. That's shitty. You'd be like, well, actually, it's Spider-Man, not the Amazing Spider-Man.
No, more my the way I was trying to throw you off was with Dennis Leary. but-
He is an amazing Spider-Man.
yeah.
Captain George Stacy.
And obviously, the suspicious connection is David Cross was also in Eternal Sunshine.
Yep.
So, she was in Kiki's Delivery Service, as was Phil Hartman. They both did voices for Kiki's Delivery Service.
Whoa.
Yeah, and
Phil the cat?
Wag the Dog is a film starring Dennis Leary.
But Kirsten Dunst is also in that?
Yes, she's also in that,
okay.
yeah. I won't even do the bonus question because Luke already answered that earlier.
Oh, sorry, man.
It's okay. It's okay. It was the 2 actresses that voiced the Gwendy dolls.
Oh,
So
that was Robert that pointed that out.
Yeah.
I just helped.
I brought it up,
Okay,
and
you
then
brought
I
it up,
didn't
yeah.
remember Sarah Michelle Gellar. I just
remember
remembered
just like
Christina
alley-oop,
Ricci because my love for Christina Ricci is documented on this podcast.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, but I do have one more bonus question for extra bonus points. So you get 1 point if you can name which actors, or 1 point each actor that starred in a Marvel movie, and 1 point if you can tell me what movie it was.
Well, you just ruined one. Dennis Leary.
Kirsten.
God, this is like not. I'm in the 13th.
Well, there's one more. There's one more.
Oh, there's one more.
Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah,
He
there you
was,
go.
he was Two-Face. That's DC.
No, he was a
He was the general in Captain America.
Captain America.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay,
Hold on.
okay.
Good job.
Nice. Remembering that not as great Marvel movie.
Yeah, I watched it recently. It kind of holds up.
It's good.
It's
It's
kind of
good.
has the most heart because it was at the beginning of the whole run.
Yes.
I was like,
Pre-Disney.
it's kind of okay.
Pre-Disney buyout.
Kind of like it.
Well, congratulations, soldiers. But there can only be one winner, and that winner is
What's happening?
Robert.
Thank you so much for doing the trivia, Javi. And with that, we'll move on to what we'd like to thank our executive producers. Right now, it's just Eddie Martinez. Thank you, Eddie. And if you would like to be an executive producer and have your name shouted out on each episode, you can help us out by spending $15 a month on our Patreon. This is a very clumsy way of getting you to give us money.
That's right. It's executive producers like Eddie Martinez. She just, she's not a lifeless doll. She punches out of the box, all right? Everything else, aside from Eddie, is just a listener. So you too could be a producer. That was my clunkiest one. That was really bad. And we're leaving it in.
We're leaving that one in, yeah. And with that, we'll take our second ad break.
Ad break number 2.
we're back with Act 3 of the award categories, where we start off with my new band name. What do you got, Robert?
I only had one. We already said it. Chuck and I both arrived at Troglicon. Like, I would actually want to be in a band called Troglicon. Yeah. Like, not just because I have to fill this category question or something. Like, that's an awesome band name.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, and he's cool, and he becomes a different character when he becomes Frankenstein.
Would it be like a Guar experience?
Maybe. It could be. It depends on the members of my band. I mean, you know, I would let us create the sound of Troglicon.
Did you just go up there and do like Skinner covers?
No. None of those.
No Led Zeppelin?
No. Black Sabbath, yes. No Led Zeppelin.
Okay. So does Guar.
Overrated.
For my Troglicon, I went with the entire quote. My band name is Alas, Poor Troglicon. And they're a post-rock band like Godspeed You Black Emperor.
Yeah,
so it's just like
pretty
15 minutes of just kind of like dwindly guitar and like whooshing wind sounds. And then finally there's like a spoken word moment at the very end. You're like, wait, is the song just starting? And then like you like turn it up a little bit to try and hear the lyrics and you're like, oh, it's over.
Alas, poor Troglicon.
That made me fucking cackle because there's so much heart in that delivery too. He's like, alas, poor Troglicon. Like he's like, that is my best friend. Like he died.
Is that Frank Langella who delivers that?
It's Archer says it.
Yeah.
I had Window to Gorgon.
That's pretty good.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's a fantasy metal kind of.
I totally see like heavy metal. Like nice.
I'm talking about riding a lot. A lot of power metal does that.
Yeah.
We ride through.
Yeah.
Insert thing.
I've got Alt Barbie Death Squad, and they would be play sped up punk versions of Disney songs.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Cannon Fodder Gwendy reporting for duty. That's still so good. I had Program to Lose, which is a shoegaze band.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, again, everything just keeps circling back to Archer. It's like, why don't you guys fight back? We are programmed to lose. And then he just makes like the saddest little...
Then on to our Roger Deakins Would Be Proud Award for cinematography.
The beginning when they're making the toys, which we already brought up, but like it looks amazing. The lasers shooting out, just all the construction. It's fantastic. I think super like vibrant colors. Everything about it's awesome. And then all that war stuff at the end is all at night, and it looks amazing. Yeah. Like everything's crystal clear, but like it doesn't look like fake night or anything like that. It looks like night.
They had to expose for all the flames and fire and stuff.
Flames, fire, toys driving around, and cars mixed with CGI. Like, you know what I mean? Like all that stuff's going on in these night shoots, clear, and it works.
I just like all the just the miniature work, like all of it, absolutely all of it. The close-ups. I don't know if that gets attention. This movie gets attention for that. But that's like a tremendous amount of work.
I do think the CGI is pretty exceptional for 1998. How little like they picked, flaw you see.
They picked their battles, which was a really smart way to do it.
Yeah, I had the assembly of the toys as well. So.
Yeah, it looks cool.
And one that we didn't touch on that I had was the crane shot of Alan riding up to his dad with the plane tickets is just like a perfect 90s Joe Dante kind of like swooping, like classic, reminded me of Gremlins, kind of when Billy's like heading back home after the bank kind of thing. So yeah.
The bike ride sequence where the one blonde soldier is like going after the kid and there's a dog and a CGI toy and a kid riding a bike. And I'm like, how the fuck do you shoot that?
Yeah.
How do you do that? I don't even understand what is going on because the camera's moving, the bike's moving, the dog's moving, the toy is running around. And it's like, whoa. There's a ton of information being translated and it's flawless. Like you don't see it happen. No, you don't think really about it. It's just Joe Dante being ingenious. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. We'll go on to, is that Channing Tatum in a dog collar award?
I said this at the beginning, but unlike Chuck, I did not remember Dennis Leary being in this fucking... I mean, again, I was a child, so I didn't know Dennis Leary was. Yeah. But for some reason, I recognized everybody else. But Dennis Leary, This might also be a hot take, but I don't feel like he needs to be in the movie.
No.
They could have picked somebody else to be like a generic corporate.
They got him in to do his 12-second rant that they could put in a promo that would get people in seats.
Yeah. I thought he was going to have like a huge part. But someone was like, holy shit, that's fucking Dennis Leary. Is there a whole part of this movie that I don't remember?
There's a weird meetup of this group of stand-up comics, Cross, Moore, Leary, and then the Saturday Night Live crew. Mm-hmm. And they're both in this movie together somehow.
Yeah.
And so, it's a thing.
I was just going to say, speaking of Saturday Night Live, mine was Sherry O'Terry.
Sherry O'Terry, man.
As the Globotech hotline operator.
Yeah. I'm not a ma'am.
Not
Can I talk to a robot, please?
Yeah, exactly.
not credited for some reason.
No.
Interesting.
She started SNL in '95, so she was like already popular and well known. But for some reason,
She's hilarious
She
in
is.
this.
Yeah,
She's
perfect.
great.
Perfect. Yeah.
I want to say Robert Picardo.
Yeah. Picardo's in there. For a minute.
He's the doctor from Star Trek Voyager, but he is the guy who designed the X-1000.
Oh, is
Yeah.
he?
And his scene is fantastic because he just like
on fire, dude.
What is? Yeah, it's so good. What does he say? He's like, they said that defense shielding wouldn't be cost effective. Do you tell Michelangelo? Sorry, this isn't cost effective. Here's a bag of cement. Like comparing himself and the designing of his military chip to like being Michelangelo.
Problems
Incredible.
with your software.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pressing in on David Cross and David Cross like backing up.
It's a weird clean room scene to begin with, but he chewed the shit out of him.
Yeah. I mean, that guy's incredible.
He's hilarious,
He's
man.
really, really good.
Right on. I had Cherry O'Terry as well. Anyone have a Hans Gruber award?
I give it to Nick Nitro.
Yeah.
Getting
Same.
shredded in the garbage disposal. Like just like, yeah, and then like
That was
crawling out.
Pretty
Like,
fucking
yeah.
gruesome. Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty horrific.
They stayed on it for a long
Oh, yeah.
time.
But the whole death of him, or they're like, Nick Nitro's battery has run out.
Yeah.
And it's like, a mind is a terrible thing to waste. And he like pulls his skin off.
Yeah.
And
And
they're
all
like,
this-
I'm going to be sick.
Yeah, all the soldiers react. They're like, oh, God.
Yeah.
War is hell.
Yeah, well, they do a lot of that. A lot of like the kind of stuff you hear in like war movies, or
Yeah.
just like all the lines about like oh, it's okay, so let it out, son, and all that stuff. I was like, geez, I'm like this kind of
Chip
dark.
Hazard is
Yeah.
straight sociopathic, like
Yeah.
like one of the craziest military characters. I mean, he's a toy, so he can be inhuman, right?
Yeah.
Like he's not a human, obviously, but it's like that dude is terrifying. Like his mind operating, and he's like, I'm gonna go get all the when he gets the reinforcements, he doesn't bring another Chip Hazard to life. He brings all the soldiers who will listen to him. He's still the only Chip Hazard. I wish they had shown like the destroyed other Chip Hazards or something like that. Like he had been like, I am
That's
the
fucking
one.
dark, and I love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I mean, because
Yeah.
he like I always noticed that as a kid is like, why isn't there a bunch of Chip Hazards? That would have been more soldiers,
There's a
but
bunch of
then they
cut
would have been
open-
a bunch of dudes vying for power.
Yeah. There's a bunch of cut open packages with their heads twisted off or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just the quiet, and the toy store is just dead silent. Just
Yeah.
fucking,
And then like a delivery driver dead. That's what this movie's missing is like one delivery driver in the warehouse. Like, what's that? With a flashlight.
Oh, yeah.
Ah! And but I mean, Chip Hazard gets 2 Hans Gruber deaths.
Yeah.
He gets to explode in a fireball with all of them, but that doesn't kill him. And then he gets fried between the transistors, which causes the EMP. So it's like he is the wrench that like creates the connection point to kill all of them. And he melts, and I don't know, he says something cool. Because it's Tommy Lee Jones.
Yep.
It all sounds cool.
Why I like Waterworld, a controversial hot take.
Mine's pretty simple. I wanted this to be more of a genre movie. Like I wanted it to be more of an action movie or more of a war movie. And I think that's the reason why it didn't become a classic like Gremlins. I mean, Gremlins obviously lightning in a bottle kind of thing, but Gremlins is a horror movie that happens to have heart. And this is a movie that was made to sell toys, and we just happened to get lucky with it, having the action elements and not sucking, basically.
The way that this film came out, right? Not like if I could do it better, right? But the way that it's portrayed in this film, I don't think the Gorgonites need to be in the movie. I love them. I love them.
Those the small soldiers versus the humans.
Yeah. I mean,
Gotcha.
you might as well have just done that for how little the Gorgonites like kind of provided to the overall kind of story and the action.
Or like
It
Archer.
could have just been,
Archer could have been like the medic character of something. Like he could have been like the toy that you don't want in the army playset. Like it's like, oh yeah, like, and that's the radio correspondent. And so he's just, he's like, and Archer's like a conscientious objector.
The only one without the gun.
Yeah, exactly. The one that's like, I didn't sign up for this war, man. Like he's the one that got drafted. Yeah.
My hot take is I like this more than Gremlins.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That is a hot take.
I know.
boy.
Except for the dead dad in the chimney speech, which this movie has nothing that even comes close to that. And I don't like it more than Gremlins 2 at all. I like this more because we did Gremlins, and I realized I didn't have any nostalgic attachment to Gremlins really.
Wow.
Like I mean, I like the puppetry work in Gremlins more than the CGI in this, but as a movie, a lot of Gremlins is boring to me, and this is not a perfect movie, but I like it more.
Wow,
enough.
man, get ready to get flamed on the internet. 'Cause holy shit.
ROBERT_NEGOESCO. Come at me. Let's do this. Let's have a discussion. We can both learn from this, but if you want to just come at me, go for it.
Inboxes are open.
Yeah.
Hashtag don't bring Robert back. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Let's start the movement. He's starting it. He's got 12 troll accounts.
No Guesco, then let's go.
Yeah.
We'll go on to our Blue Velvet meets Blue's Clues. Any mashup ideas?
I feel like I sound like a broken record, but I just feel like, I don't know, Small Soldiers meets Chucky.
Mm-hmm.
I just wish they had leaned in more into like that dark kind of fucked up vision they
the
had
original
for
intent,
it.
the PG-13, for PG-13, not accidentally getting
like
PG-13.
a hard PG-13. Yeah.
Yeah, I said Small Soldiers meets Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. So you've got Alan and Christy accidentally get shrunk down to action figure size.
Oh, you're dead.
And basically they team up with the Gorgonites to survive the perils of being small in a big world while fending off the Commando Elite.
Fuck yeah.
See,
yes.
I kind of think this movie is a mashup already.
Yeah.
It's like RoboCop meets Toy Story meets Gremlins.
Oh, yeah.
Because it has the satire, like the whole, I thought of RoboCop instantly with the beginning because it's like Globodyne Systems, blah, 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 blah.
Globotech is used in another movie too.
Globotech is in Gremlins too, right? That's the company that...
Is it in
Is
Gremlins
it the
as
same? It's Globodyne in this. And is it
well?
Globotech?
it's
No, it's
Globotech.
Globotech.
And then it's Globodyne in Gremlins too.
Oh, is it?
Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, they squeeze the world.
But the name was really familiar. Like, could have sworn it was in RoboCop.
I mean, it makes sense. It's Joe Dante. Why I don't know why maybe I'm wrong in it, but I feel like I don't know why Globodyne is in my mind. Maybe that's a real company. I don't know. But yeah, that like satirical, like giant like it's very RoboCop. I think it's like RoboCop for kids or something, like this DNA of like satirical take on like, what if we did this with a normal, like, you know, and then the technology mixing with like something normal, like, okay, this guy's just a dead cop. Oh, he becomes this other thing. And it's like, these are just toys. Oh, what if we put military chips in a toy, you know? And it has, I mean, the whole thing is satirical, like just from the basic idea of like, why would a war or a military contract company buy a toy company?
Also, something we didn't even touch on, super dark, that they are going to not destroy the Commando Elite toys they've made. They're just going to send them to South America to take on the rebels. It's like, holy shit, that's evil.
Yeah. It's that is a good like end for Dennis Leary's character in this movie. It's really good because that is some bone chilling stuff.
Yeah, that's like...
I know some South American rebels who are going to have a lot of fun. And you're like, what the fuck, dude?
Here comes Kanye. Pluggables. Cards.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's 13 days left as of this recording.
Yeah.
I'm going to start like messaging people like and begging hardcore. If you guys are okay with doing the same thing.
Yeah, 13 days, only 13 decks left. Grab yours. That's right. Scarcity is real, people. We're running out. They are flying off the shelves. You want one. You know you do.
Everything else is just a regular deck of belly.
That's right. Everything else.
Yeah.
You got any pluggables, Robert? You got some projects coming up?
Nothing really coming up. Just working on some comics. But yeah, follow me, as I said before, at Robert_NEGOESCO on Instagram, or just that last name on YouTube.
And on to Do We Call Jules and Vincent?
Nah, I said let live.
This movie's awesome.
Yeah.
This is technically my first time watching it, and I love it. It has everything.
Yeah, this was like
you could want.
That classic, for the love of God, let it hold up, let it hold up, let it hold up, and it did.
Yeah, that's fun.
I remember it so fondly, and this did deflate my nostalgic memories a little bit rewatching it.
Sure.
But it's still really fun and really good.
Absolutely.
And I'm just not 8 years old anymore either, you know, which like dipped a little bit in my memory banks.
Sure.
You know, it's just a more realistic view of it now.
Yeah,
but it's still
happen. Yeah.
It's still super awesome.
Oh yeah, no, it's really well made, crafted. The craft of the movie's great.
Yeah,
story's great. The acting's great. I have nothing to.
The 90s vibes, those are great.
Yeah, the music, the soundtrack was very 1997.
Yeah,
it was catching the boomers and the Xers.
You got rock and hip hop and
Led Zeppelin. You got a couple other
you got
classic rock in there.
Hip hop remix of War for the end credits.
It was almost a nitpick of mine, but it was kind of funny they used that song for the advance.
Oh, yeah.
Because the song is against war.
Yeah.
Totally. It's like, what?
Yeah, sure. I don't think the little kids are thinking too much
Oh,
about
no,
that.
not at
But
all.
yeah. I mean, their needle drops and they're weird. It's like, why is another one bites the dust in it? it's not even for a war scene. It's for when they're like building their artillery up.
Oh, right.
You know,
Yeah.
and it's just like, well, that's a good song, but that didn't need to be here.
No, and that was purely like boomer ear grab. The classic rock was super,
How'd they even
super
get
popular.
Led Zeppelin? Led Zeppelin was like notorious like for
Right.
not
Uh-huh.
licensing their music. How did they get Led Zeppelin?
I think they started after the 92 or something like that. They started licensing out.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean,
Really-
it's like
really
it's
hard
pretty
to- really hard to
crazy
get, yeah.
that I mean, this is a big budget movie for what it is, and it's like they got huge songs. All the effects and stuff are huge.
Mhm.
You know,
On to our Sonic Death Monkey top 5. Our top 5 unrealistic, improbable, stupid, lame movie MacGuffins. Robert, you said you didn't really have
I
any?
didn't do the MacGuffin thing.
That's fine.
I didn't look. I would have had to just Google MacGuffins.
Sure,
I was
well-
trying to think of it other than Maltese Falcon.
Yeah. yeah.
You know.
Well, if you think of some, we do a round robin now. So if you think of some, blurt it out.
Yeah, to be fair, I kind of came up with it, and then even I had trouble. I was like, wait a minute, oh man.
Yeah, I interpreted the question differently too. I didn't go worst MacGuffins. I was like, these are just great MacGuffins.
Oh, you went for great?
Yeah. Or just like favorite ones.
The words you sent to me were unrealistic and improbable.
Oh, those were Javi's words. And I chose to not read those words. I was like, MacGuffins are fun. Yeah, let's do that.
Who the hell's writing this show? No, it's fine. That's right on par because
Yeah.
every time we do this, we have a different fucking interpretation of
Exactly.
the question. So.
See, we were also
part of the
affected by the
magic.
writer's strike.
So yeah, since I didn't understand the
That's
question, I'll just
fine.
kick it off.
It's funnier. It's funnier this way, I think.
My number 5 is the crystal shard from the Dark Crystal. Because like
Okay.
that's the whole thing is like we're going on a quest. We got to get this shard and like, reassemble the crystal. And as a kid watching it and as an adult watching it, you're just like, Jim Henson Muppets. These little dudes are on this adventure and they're interacting in this strange foreign fantasy world. And by the time the movie ends, I'm like, oh, that's right. We were trying to get this piece of crystal this whole time. Okay, here we are. So
Yeah, I don't remember Crystal in that movie at all.
that's what I mean. Yeah.
For my number 5, I had Fate of the Furious, and I had The God's Eye.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
That's
just
a good one.
not only is that just it's fucking dumb, but just also you also have to take
What
it kind of like
is that?
it's like
It's like a really awesome like stick shift head that'll like make you drive better. It's enchanted by gods or like what
it's
is
a
it?
computer program satellite thing that like allows you to control any
Car.
car that's like has some sort of like computer system.
I gotta watch these movies.
And then there's just
Yeah, same.
enough of those cars like in the vicinity to
I dipped out in Tokyo Drift, dude. I gotta keep going, I guess.
No, you gotta come back. They're fun. They're just
That
like
sounds fun. I like mine though. I want like a cursed like gear shifter head where you screw it in on your car and it makes you drive better, but it takes something from your soul.
Like a
you
portable
know?
Christine.
Yeah.
My number 5 is Jones, the dolphin from Johnny Mnemonic.
Oh yeah.
Oh fuck.
I've
Like
never
the
seen
whole
it.
mission is to get to them, to the dolphin, and it's a dolphin in a tank. it's not bad enough that Henry's acting is distracting as shit, but they go to a dolphin who's hooked up to electronics to broadcast a virus or save memory or whatever they did.
Damn, I gotta watch this movie too.
You haven't seen Johnny Mnemonic?
No.
It's good, bad.
That sounds great. Let's
it's
do it.
It's the Matrix and Lawnmower Man.
I haven't seen Lawnmower Man.
You get it.
I've read it.
Me too.
Oh.
I've done both. Wow, you're in for a ride, brother.
Yeah,
I
let's
did not
do it.
know there was an. Okay,
Lawnmower Man's a Stephen King short story.
Okay, I was gonna say I'm gonna ask a really stupid question. I was like, is it a short story, like, or a book, or is it like
It has
the
nothing to
novel-
do with that movie. It's about a goat man who comes to the guy's house and like starts eating his lawn. And there's no AI or virtual reality in it at all. I don't understand how that happened.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. I'm laying a lot on you right now.
I was also excited that you guys read the novelization of Lawnmower Man. Like, you know how they make those trade backs?
Oh,
They're just
yeah.
like, some guy went and saw Lawnmower Man and brought his laptop and just typed it out the whole time.
The money in Psycho is a MacGuffin.
I saw that listed a lot on people's
Okay.
lists.
Yeah, because it's the whole reason why she's there. It's the whole reason why she's running. It's the whole reason why she even goes there. And it gets swallowed in the swamp. He doesn't even know that the money's in the trunk. He just wants to murder her, which I think is actually a great MacGuffin for something that actually doesn't affect the overall plot. It's like money being sucked into a swamp.
it made
poetic.
sense.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it was used as a purpose. And it was,
Yeah.
that's fine.
I did a quick change up because I was like, this is more of a MacGuffin than the other thing I had written in. Ian's date in the movie Sex Drive. So the whole point of the movie is character is like meets a girl online, is gonna like lose his virginity supposedly, steals brother's car, goes on like road trip with best friends. Shitty early 2000s sex comedy ensues. The whole movie happens, and then at the very end, they're like, well, we're finally here. And you're like, wait, where? We were running from the cops. We were doing all this. And it's like, oh, that's right. The whole movie was to get this kid laid. And like, I totally forgot about that.
Sounds like License to Drive.
Yeah, it's a bad rehash. It's on that list of movies that like, I was like, oh, this looks terrible. And I like rented it for $1 from Blockbuster back in the day.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, oh, look, this made me laugh more than I'd like to admit. All right. I'm going to keep this one on the back burner.
Isn't Gorgon the MacGuffin in this now that I'm thinking about it? Gorgon's the MacGuffin.
There are several, I think. I think the computer chip is the first one. But
This is a MacGuffin sandwich movie.
Pretty much, yeah. It's a smorgasbord.
Number 4, I had The Dial of Destiny from Indiana Jones. The Dial of Destiny.
Is that your only Indiana Jones?
You know what? I thought about other ones, but I was like, okay, which one do I...
Everyone hated the Crystal Skull the most.
You know what? Dial of Destiny for me was the Crystal Skull to everybody else.
Okay.
I didn't mind Crystal Skull.
I hated Dial of Destiny.
Yeah, but I saw that. I was like, oh, this is what people felt when they watched Crystal Skull. I was like, gotcha now.
Yeah, I think de-aged Harrison Ford is the MacGuffin of our world. Nobody wants it. But yet they put millions into it.
Yeah, it just made me, I don't know, it just made me feel like one of those people. I just was watching the movie and then I was like, ow, this is dumb. It doesn't feel like Indiana Jones anymore, man.
Right on. So, my number 4, it's from a movie I've mentioned before. You probably haven't seen it, but Cold Souls. There's Paul Giamatti is a play actor, and he's having a really hard time like keeping it together, and he finds a service that will extract your soul from your body, but it extracts it into a physical form, and it happens to be Paul Giamatti's happens to come out to look like a chickpea. It's just kind of funny. And then it gets sold to Russians, and he has to go to Russia and chase it and find it. And
To get his soul back?
Yeah.
Whoa.
This sounds fun.
I really like the movie. It hasn't stood up that well, but Paul Giamatti fucking cooks in it.
He cooks chickpeas?
Does he cook his own soul on accident?
It'll be weird if someone just popped it in.
Yeah. He's like making hummus. He's like, oh, fuck, I forgot.
This is not the week to make hummus.
Yeah, my number 3, it's low-hanging fruit. I went with The Briefcase from Pulp Fiction.
Nice.
I had that on my list, and I didn't want to be a hack, so I took it off.
Well, here I am, hacking away. I got my scythe in one hand, I got my axe in the other. I'm just chopping.
Your list is a little different too, so I liked the Briefcase in Pulp Fiction.
Oh yeah, exactly.
For my number 3, I had Thanos' Infinity Gauntlet from Avengers, which I fucking love. Huge Marvel fanboy, but doesn't make sense.
Just done with it, huh?
That doesn't make. I was just like, oh, like I don't know, like all the Infinity Stones combined together.
Yeah, it just gives
him
him
power to do whatever the fuck you want.
Little markers on a quest.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah.
It's checkpoints. Each one. He has a new stone now.
My number 3 is another Paul Giamatti movie, Paycheck.
With
Ben Affleck.
Ben Affleck movie?
Yes. Oh,
It's I really wanted this movie to be good, but
I haven't seen that movie in forever.
Ben Affleck is hired to reverse engineer some machine, and he ends up discovering how to go back in time. For his future self, he leaves himself a bunch of clues because he has his memory erased when he leaves the company. A bunch of clues that are the MacGuffins, and then the final MacGuffin is the lottery ticket at the bottom of the birdcage. I'm not spoiling anything for anybody. No one's going to watch this movie. It's bad. It's a bad Ben Affleck movie. It's a bad Paul Giamatti movie. It's a bad Uma Thurman movie.
Saw it in theaters.
No way.
It's a bad time.
You saying Ben Affleck made me think of an awful MacGuffin with Ben Affleck. Batman versus Superman, Martha.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's a MacGuffin, right? Would it be a MacGuffin? They're not chasing it, but it's a plot point.
That's what brings them together.
It's an integral plot point that hinges on nothing.
Yeah.
It's nothing.
I think you consider it a bad MacGuffin, yeah.
Okay. That works. Good. And we got to rope Ben Affleck into it again.
Different interpretation. I went One-Eyed Willie's Treasure from the Goonies. Because it's a reason to, the rich stuff is gets us on this quest. And then otherwise it's kind of just trying not to get murdered by the Fratellis for the most part.
I can't wait to do that movie, man.
I know.
And then in the end, it just pays for all their rent.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah. For my number 2, I had the computer virus from Independence Day.
Oh, yeah.
That works on alien tech.
Yes. Such a fucking, I don't know how to write myself out of this corner.
Oh, yeah. The most Deus Ex Machina thing ever. Yeah.
My number 2 are the White Castle sliders from Harold and Kumar.
Yeah, I almost put that.
They're not as good as I remember them.
No, they're fucking terrible.
They're awful, awful little things. And I think you have to be drunk and high to truly appreciate them.
And also, with that movie, why go on a quest to find an open White Castle when you could go to a supermarket and get the same product, basically?
Yeah, exactly.
Because they're really stoned.
Yeah.
That's true. That's truly stoned.
They didn't even think about that.
Yeah. And my number one is the Necronomicon in the Evil Dead franchise, except for Army of Darkness. Because Army of Darkness, there's like a whole bit where it's like, oh, we actually have to get the book, and it has like serves a purpose. But otherwise, it's like, what's this shit? And then like we read a passage or we play a tape.
Unleashes evil.
Unleashes evil, and then it's just take down evil. And like, yeah, in most of them, we don't even come back to the book ever. It's just like, oh yeah, that's just still in the basement. The Deadites have the book and like all of that. It's totally fine.
I know. What if you just like read it to yourself?
Yeah.
Like, what if you don't read it out loud? Is it okay? Can I read the whole book?
Can I just hang out? And read
Can I
it?
just read the And it's like, holy shit, that was dark. Are there any demons? Oh, okay, I'm fine. Or are there demons in your own head? Oh, I think we got a pitch now for a new Evil Dead.
I've got an Evil Dead pitch. So I was not a huge fan of Evil Dead Rise, honestly.
No.
What if it was like a true crime podcast / like audiobook scenario, and they just like read the Necronomicon over the airwaves to the entire
world.
Beam it out to the world. Yeah.
Evil Dead
All right.
world.
I got a different one, the meta one. Bruce Campbell receives a Necronomicon in the mail, and he's like, oh, these fans, all right. And he sits down and reads it, but the demons are in his head now. All right,
I like
right. And then
Yeah.
Bruce Campbell gets possessed, and we get to bring it in, but he's just playing Bruce Campbell. No chainsaw arm, none of that, just Bruce.
I want to be very clear for my number one. It is as portrayed with the information that you were given in the film, but the one ring in Lord of the Rings.
Sure.
Well, sure.
Right, because you don't get all this amazing, wonderful, incredible explanation, backstories, and all this, hundreds and hundreds of pages dedicated to this. Based on what you get in the movie, it just does whatever the fuck the plot needs it to do.
Well, it kind of is
And I
even
read
a
the book, so I'm
MacGuffin
just-
in
yeah.
the books. It's not
Sure,
a MacGuffin
less,
in The Hobbit.
Less so, but yeah.
Like
yeah.
it's utilized as an item. It's not this thing they're chasing. Like if anything, Smaug's treasures the MacGuffin in The Hobbit, but like it's just a tool. But by the time you get to Lord of the Rings, even the books, it is a MacGuffin.
Yeah.
It's everyone's chasing it.
My number one isn't really my favorite or one that I hate, but I'm staying on brand. I'm going to go with Dryland from Waterworld.
Yeah.
It's not a myth. I've seen it.
Yeah, I mean the Green Place in Mad Max Fury Road.
Yeah.
Same sort of deal.
And with that brings us to the end of our show. Thank you for listening if you're still listening. I've been Luc Londe.
I have been Chuck Starzenski.
And I have been Javier Martinez.
And I've been Robert Negoesco.
And we have been the Nostalgia Killers.
Bang, bang.
Please give us money.